You can see me still. Wait, what happened? Our thing didn't cover up the whole thing.
It's weird.
Where you get this image from, Shay? Oh, we're live. Sorry.
Why are you talking through the liveness?
You're not
Like,
hearing. You're not. Never mind. Okay, sorry.
like we're live. Just stop.
The following may contain language which will be offensive to some people and inappropriate for children. Still here? Then pour your favorite beverage and let's get this fucking show started.
Assemble. You're watching Fantastic Four, the premier show about comic books and your live weekly conversation about entertainment and geek culture. We are the Fantastic Forum coming to you live and direct from the Hall of F. Hope you're having a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night, as the case may be, depending on where you are in the world. And if you're not, you stick with us. We'll help you take it up a notch. You have the usual suspects in the building. First, he is our friggin' riddle inside of an enigma, trapped in Chinese finger cuffs. You don't know him, you love him anyway. He's our silent assassin, Jay.
I used the same picture for the background as I did the thing, so they are the same picture. They should be the same.
I think I fucked up because what I do is I usually make it and then send it to you, but I crop it to the right size when I send it to you. And I think when I redid the second one today, I didn't crop it and sent it. So
But then the background should be short too, right?
well, no, because I think the background automatically fills up like it's designed to, because it has to fill everything. It has to be the back. So no matter what size you do it, it'll fill in. And then the second one did. So I fucked up. The buck
That
stops.
that
Yeah.
that that other dulcet tone you hear is the backbone, the pillar, the strength of Fantastic Forum, our night of brawler and resident strongman, Moses Magdalene.
I'm the thorn in Fantastic Forum spine.
In our spine? Oh my god.
Yeah.
That I don't want a thorn in my spine. That
I
sounds
don't need
bad.
the spine.
You don't need the spine?
Just so they might be giants quote.
Oh. I did not know that. Look,
You know what
like,
song I
It's
love?
not a deep cut, it's just a random cut.
You know what
Like,
song I love from them, Jay? That I just
Hmm.
heard is Istanbul, not Constantinople.
Oh yeah, that's a great
Yeah.
song.
classic.
And, like I I always knew it. I didn't know it was. Well, I think it's a cover, right? Like it's Devo did it originally, I think. But no, it's theirs.
Yeah, that's an original. They might be giants.
Okay, it fits. Like when when I thought that they covered, it, I'm like, oh, but because I forgot we were watching, and we were watching the last was it the last voyage of the Demeter, and then
Mm-hmm.
they go to Constantinople to Istanbul, and I'm like, Istanbul, not Constantinople. And Emily didn't know what I was saying, so I started singing it. Yeah, what I was doing, and then I finally found it and played it, and she still wasn't.
That's the content we need to skyrocket our channel into the stratosphere right there.
Yeah, Larry had an idea that all the time she rolls her eyes at me, like I need to capture those on video.
I was talking about when he's playing Snap and he's like, I'm about to fuck this girl in the ass.
Yeah.
Like, why are you talking like that? I was like, oh my god.
I had this great win with Galactus the other day, and I showed it to Larry. He appreciated it, but Emily did.
Oh, okay. Wait, it might be a cover, but not Devo.
Not Devo.
Song by Jamie Kennedy and Nat Simon.
Jamie Kennedy.
Yeah, no, I think they might have been covering Devo also.
Jimmy Kennedy.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, and that was in 1953.
Okay, yeah.
No, Devo.
I don't think Devo was.
No.
Yeah.
If that's the case, then Devo, because I remember hearing it. They Might Be Giants was around, but I remember. I thought it was Devo because I
All right,
remember.
here are the people that have done covers. Frankie Vaughan in 1954. Cole Joy's
Did you say the
Joy
song came out in
Boys.
1954?
It came out in 53.
Oh, this fool was like, "Oh, we should make that song." Like, man, make your own song.
Big Muffin Serious Band did a cover in 1987.
Yeah, I remember.
They Might Be Giants did it in 1990.
Damn.
The Sakados did it also in 1990.
Yeah.
Barton Baker remixed. Wait, no, they didn't remix. They did a cover in 2016 that was hot. And Bette Midler did a cover.
No, she didn't.
Yeah, she did.
So she did it as part of her 1976 special for home box office.
See?
For HBO.
Oh,
Well, look,
like Jay.
it's time, Jay. It's time for our band, Fuck by Force, to. I'm
No.
sorry, by way of force. To.
I don't know if that makes it better.
A death metal cover of it. Jay, get ready on those double pedal drums.
My set only came with one pedal.
Yeah, we could double it up in post.
Nice.
There it is.
Yeah, we look. We can. You got 4 of them, like Alex Van Halen, man. It'll be just like the opening for what was it? For Hot for Teacher.
Right. I know that song.
You better, because it's your biggest influence in our band. When Rolling Stone asked us who our influence is, like you're like, yeah, Alex Van Halen and Hot for Teacher.
No, I can't do that.
My name is Lawrence Young. They call me Mary Young. Welcome to Fantastic Forum.
Oh, sorry.
This is how this show works. For those of you like,
I was
what?
Like as my final today, I was gonna.
You're gonna what me?
Say again.
No, I was gonna apologize to you guys as my final thought today because of all these rants that I go on and tangents.
Oh,
and then I started the show.
It's okay.
I apologize.
I'll listen.
Your tangents, I don't mind. It's just your rants.
Yeah. No, everybody hates my rants.
You get so violent.
Yeah.
You get so violent. You're like,
I'm passionate.
Don't punch me anymore.
Jay, I can't help it. I'm passionate.
He hits you because he loves you, Jay.
Passion is slimy, gooey.
Yeah.
So,
what?
Yeah.
No, I was saying, should we tell people how they can join us?
Absolutely. I'm trying to get there.
After you thank Scott Rubin,
right? Listen, why doesn't Jay host the show? Jay.
Oh, you know I get stage fright.
Stage fright? Jay, you've been doing this for friggin' a decade.
Only a decade?
Probably more. Probably more. You can't be afraid at this point.
Jay, you don't miss the days when you were just talent, like you just show up, take a Southern Comfort and talk shit into the mic. Now you're running shit in the background. Jay was a rock star back in the audio only day. He comes, yo, we got to read this. Yeah, I read it. All right, cool. Yeah. This shit was bullshit. This shit's stupid. This is this. Takes a swig, smokes his Black and Mild, and then goes home.
Right. That's true. That's so funny.
Oh,
now we got
tweaking knobs and shit, and
right. You got to read chat.
Yeah.
Speaking of which,
he reminds Larry to thank Scott Rubin now.
Speaking of which, thanks, Scott Rubin. We appreciate you. Show would not have existed without him. So thank you, Scott Rubin. Yeah. go to Fantastic. Oh, actually, we got an intern, right? Where's the intern?
To get
Intern,
in on the
please tell the
action,
people.
call Fantastic Forum on Skype and join the fun. Too shy to call in? That's okay. You can join the Discord chat room available at
fantasticforum.live.
Join the party. You know you want to.
Thank you, intern. So yeah, fantasticforum.live. You can go ahead, become the 4th member of Fantastic Forum because we don't have Oz here today. Shout out to Oz.
Yeah. He really didn't want to watch Scavengers reign.
The funny thing is, if Oz watched Scavengers Raid, I really think he would like it.
He would love it. Maybe not as much as I did. Yeah.
But yeah. But yeah, we do actually have a great show for you today because we are going to be talking to you all about Hellboy, Web of Wyrd. We're going to be talking to you all about Funhouse. What is it?
Fear the Funhouse, Toybox of Terror.
Fear the Funhouse, Toybox of Terror, which is an Archie one-shot horror book comic, and then we're going to talk about Scavengers Reign. Normally, I'm able to, have like the little reminder from our title card that I put into our Discord, not Discord, that I put into our StreamYard, but everything like that is too much. It's too many letters. like we reached the limit where they're like, nah, you can't have all that. I'm like, what?
You could just go to our banners.
Yeah.
And read it from there.
Like there's like 100 character limit on how many are on the titles. And so because we have, normally that's not an issue because, we put Fantastic Forum, we put the names of what we're doing. And even if we do 3 things, it's not that big of a deal usually because, like the titles are usually of a decent length, So it's like Scavengers Reign, as far as character wise, for the titles of most of the stuff we do is a long title for most of the stuff we do. But Scavengers, that's usually about the length of like a long title. But Scavengers Reign is the short one now because we have Hellboy, Web of Wyrd, and then we have friggin' Funhouse of Fright.
Yeah. Fear the Funhouse.
That's what I said, Jay. Look, I appreciate you correcting me when I say the right thing.
Hey, let's go back to audio only. You won't give a fuck what you say.
Right. He'll be playing Final Fantasy in the background.
Yeah.
Fear the Funhouse, Toybox of Terror. So, I thought that was an interesting choice that they're like, we don't need to put Archie in that. I'm like, or, I for whatever reason, I thought Archie was like, it was like Archie. I thought it was, for the longest time, I thought it was Archie, Toybox of Terror. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, oh, when I tried to look up the stuff, like the, logistics for it, I was just like, that's not coming up. And I'm like, oh, like this joint is Fear the Funhouse?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the brand.
Yeah, they do one every year.
Oh.
And then Toybox of Terror this year's. Yeah.
I'm not aware of that, Brian.
Yeah.
But I don't fear.
Because you don't
I don't like fear or fun houses.
Which is something that you brought up
for children.
Fear is
a children's book.
Meh. We do have a comment in chat. What's Oscar Bermejo talking about, Jay?
Oscar says, is it pronounced Wyrd or Weird? It's pronounced Wyrd.
Yeah.
She says it in the dialogue.
Oh yeah, that's true. She does say it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I know, like reading it like phonetically, it's like Norse for Urdur,
Taken Tugboat says, hello, FF. I wish you all a great Thanksgiving. Just beat a full gold conquest mode in Marvel Snap using only a hazmat deck.
Damn.
Nice.
Happy Thanksgiving to you, Taken.
Yeah, I know. I Taken Tugboat. I invited him to my house, and he's like, "Nah."
He said, "Nah." He's like, "Why? Why would I do that?"
No, he has a family that he wants to hang out with.
Family. Moses is your family. Wait, Taken, did you with that? Are you using like a Wong Mystique like combo to like enhance that, or are you just going like just Wong and maybe using an Odin? What are you doing? I'm curious because like hazmat decks are awesome.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if I would.
I take particular
gold
joy.
Conquest with one.
I take particular joy in beating hazmat decks.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because it's one of those things where a hazmat deck can be tough. It's like if you don't have the right stuff,
In my case, I had basically a Onslaught, Blue Marvel, Patriot, Mystique deck.
Oh, nice.
With
like
all
in one lane,
Kazar and all that, and then but I got to. I was lucky enough to have the location of where the ongoing effects are doubled. So
oh, nice.
So even though he did everything he could with the hazmat, my ongoing effects were doubled with my onslaught and they quadrupled, So I had cards like I think they played a debris, so I got clogged up with all these rocks. But with a Patriot when your ongoing effects is doubled, and then you got a Mystique doing it too, and then onslaught and Blue Marvel are all in that location. That hazmat don't stand a chance.
Yeah.
Taken says, "Oh, go ahead."
No, well, he said it's a mix with high evolutionary since those cards do minus power things already. So I threw in a hazmat and Luke Cage to keep my side safe. Oh no, that's awesome. That's a great combo.
That's even better than what you were saying with the Wong and because
100%. See, and that was the thing where
torturing your enemy the entire because you got to play those on different turns, so you're literally torturing your opponent. If he doesn't retreat, it's because he's a fucking masochist. Yeah.
Well, and that's the whole thing where like technically, like I feel like a lot of the time when that's happened, it's been like a turn. At least to me, it's been like a turn 7 thing with somebody that has like a Zabu or something like that, and so they can play like all of it at the end for some reason. You know what I mean? But yeah, you're right. Like, and that was the thing when he said a hazmat deck, I was like, a hazmat deck in Gold Conquest, but it's a high evolutionary deck with hazmat in it, which is a different thing. Like, a high evolutionary with hazmat in it makes a lot of sense. So that's why I was asking the question, because I was like, dude, like, how are you doing that? Because you can't, like, in my mind, I'm like, you can't get through Gold Conquest with just hazmat. Like, I don't care how many, like, you might get Wong, you might get friggin' Mystique and even Odin in each, every match. If you get all of that still, like one of those decks is just gonna have like a Luke Cage in it, and it's gonna be like, oh, that doesn't do anything, So yeah.
He says I like both. The high evolutionary style is a slow burn, but the Wong one is like a big hit all at once.
Yeah. The Wong, like when Wong comes together, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. I love Enchantress. Because I don't use a Wong deck, but I defend against Wong decks a lot because people like to use Wong decks. So I got something with Cosmo and Enchantress, and they're fucked. Yeah. And sometimes they forget, like they should have retreated the moment I pulled out my Cosmo or my Enchantress.
Right.
Once you play Wong and I put Cosmo, you're fucked because everybody's like. And so they keep doing, and then I did like my Yondu like killed their Odin or whatever they're planning to use, and they
Right.
didn't. They're like looking away while it kills. They're like, I could see the moment when they're like they retreat because they're like, ah shit, they killed what I needed. You know, like
Right.
Luke Cage or their hazmat. Like if Yondu killed them, they're
Mhm.
like, ah fuck. You know, I love using Enchantress on the Luke Cage when they're trying to do
Yeah.
so.
That's
So
yeah. It's very satisfying. I agree with
yeah.
that. It's funny because, or even better is if you rogue it.
Oh
Like if you
yeah,
rogue
that's
the Luke Cage, because then you get to keep all your power and they lose theirs, and it's like,
right.
whoa.
Yeah. And it's like it's almost on the same turn. Like you could
Mhm.
almost play those a turn apart. So
Right.
yeah.
Right. Um, I don't know if you saw, but they do the they have the what are oh geez, all of them I can't remember the name of gaming terms. Um, the what is it called? Sheesh, wow, the data minings for
Uh-huh.
Marvel Snap. And so one of the cards that's coming up, which I think they might have actually announced this one at some point, but it's in the future, is home chick Hulk's wife, Kyra.
Uh-huh.
And if I'm not mistaken, her what she's supposed to do is when you play her, she makes it so that none of your 6 drops or your 1 drops can be destroyed.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's crazy because I'm like, that's like a card where it's like that's gonna be in every zoo deck because the cat's gonna be playing all these ones now and they're just invulnerable. And I'm just like, man, like that's gonna be kind of wild. Like
Killmonger's like
my
weak now. Just from
well,
yeah.
he'll be weak at least when that card releases like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Those first 2 weeks, yeah, Killmonger is like out of the meta. Like that
Or I
card's
mean if you
useless
play
now.
them first, like early enough in the game.
That's true,
Because like
but
they don't
I'm
they
pretty
say
sure it's
what
like a 2.
oh, okay, so she could yes. And what is that's the
It's
ongoing? Is that an ongoing or that's just the description?
no, I think that's a well. You know what? That's a good question. Actually, that I don't know.
If it's
I don't. At
ongoing,
least I don't remember.
then yeah, you can counter it. It's fine, no matter when they play it. You know,
Yeah, that's a good question. Now I'm curious. Hold on, let me look.
so you got to strategize, Larry. You got to strategize. You got to think of
You got to
this.
strategize.
I'm
Playing
usually
tough
the one that
strategize.
I don't strategize. I'm an aggressive player, and I don't think about that. But when you mention it like this, I'm like, yeah, yeah, you know, this is. I
Yeah.
wish I would have uploaded my Galactus win to play right now. I watched it. I beat off to it twice earlier. Because I don't even
Oh
own
man.
Galactus. It was just that weird that one location that gives you a random card
Yeah.
that gave it
The
to me. Like,
hubs.
yeah, the hub. I'm like, you know what? I'll use it.
Yeah. It is ongoing.
Okay.
Yeah. One of
Okay,
the
that's
cost
fine.
cards can't be destroyed. So yeah. A
I'm
lot
a
of
love.
rogue, a lot of
Yeah,
enchantress, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna love this.
Anyway. Um shoot, I guess we should go ahead and
Yeah, talk about what we're supposed to talk about.
yeah, get on with this. So let's I know we don't have like a video game, a comic video game specific segment, but I guess I don't know, should we play something or just go into it?
Just go into it.
Yeah.
Video game music.
I was like I'm like, is what I'm like Mo's doing the clown music?
Yeah, something. Yeah, it's one of my
There it
biggest
is.
influences.
Right. All right. Well, Hellboy, Web of Word. It is a recently released uh, roguelite video game uh, that is basically done in the style of Mike Mignola's Hellboy, both from a visual perspective, um, and of course, definitely trying to capture the spirit of the comic in the story and gameplay as well. So let's talk about it and see how well it did. Moses, what were your thoughts on Hellboy: Web of Wyrd?
So I got to play a good chunk of it, and I didn't get to record it. So you're not gonna see gameplay over the. I mean, you might in After Effects with the magic of post production, but right now you're not gonna see it live. But it is when when you told me about it, I was like, oh, and then you're like, but the voice is weird. I'm like, I don't know. And then we heard the voice in the trailer. I felt like after that initial reaction from the trailer, they changed the voice because it wasn't that bad when I played the game anymore, you know. But it is it was a weird thing with the way the game was with the voice. It did take some adjustment
Mm-hmm.
for it. So but I felt like in the trailer it was like, hey, it's like Huggy Bear, you know, like, hey, what's up? Yeah, like that, like type of weird affect, because it's like the dude that died from Lost.
Yeah,
The
Lance Reddick.
yeah, like but it like even the voice he chose to do for Hellboy wasn't like the voice that guy's known for, you know. So it's like
Yeah,
weird that he chose to do that. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
that initial shock, once I got over that, you know, that was was okay. And then the game itself is the gameplay was fine. I did the so far I've done the tutorial level, then you go back to the House of Butterflies or whatever, and then you do the next chapter. And in the next chapter I was a little disappointed because it's pretty much the same thing, just with a different type of adversary to fight. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like, oh, okay, is it gonna be the game? Is it gonna be, because nowadays a lot of people like cop out with games. Like they're especially with a game like this that they like, it's basically a digital distribution game, arcade type game, you know? Like, hey, if it's gonna look
Mm-hmm.
like this the whole time, then it's like, okay, it's just different challenges. The way that you like in this sense, like you go on a path and you open these doors and then you fight these people, and you're doing it every time. It's a little different, and it's a little bit so it's like it just looks the same, you know. But I started watching other videos of gameplay like further in because I didn't get to play it too much before the show. So I started seeing other things like other environments, and I'm like, okay, now I like this. Like that's what I want to see in the game itself. But it scared me a little, thinking that it was gonna be too samey, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the gameplay itself is pretty good. I think I would enjoy it. I definitely enjoy it better in I have it on the Switch. Using a Pro controller on the TV is
Mm-hmm.
the way to go. So that is, I probably should have gotten that game on Xbox or was the Game Pass, if they have it on Game Pass. So
They
instead
don't.
of buying Switch, yeah. So I just bought it on Switch because I'm like, well, for the show purposes, like I got to be able to play it at
Mm-hmm.
any given time. Like put in some time to really like try it out. So
Right.
the easiest way to do that if it's not on Game Pass is gonna be the Switch. So I bought it on the Switch. And then
Mm-hmm.
I know Jay, he got it on Steam, but you can't do it on the deck, or it's not working
No,
on the deck.
it does
Yeah.
work now, or
Okay.
it does work. That's to
Okay.
say, like back when I thought it didn't. Well, I was like more paraphrasing
Hmm.
because it was unknown,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't like starting up unknown games because then weird shit can happen. But eventually, they did Steam Deck certify it.
Okay.
So I did get to play the prologue, and it just looks so good. Like
Mm.
I love the way the character looks, the movements, the environment. Not great, but I guess it changes later.
Yeah, the
Um,
environment is the hard part for me, where it's like that's the part that looks, when you talk about like Mignola's art, like it's kind of two-dimensional, but it's contrasty, you know? And when you're
mhm.
trying to do like a two-dimensional environment with high contrast, it can get a little weird. And I think that's where the game like You know what? Just give me give me Unreal. Do the Unreal Engine, please. You know, but keep Hellboy 2D. You know, like that's where I'm like, you know, if you do something like that, like it would be, but
But I like how
as
it looks in motion.
yeah, no. Once
Yeah.
you really see more of it, it like initially that's the thought I had, and then playing more of it, I started enjoying it the same way you
But
did.
I can't get on board with this voice, and I like the dude.
Yeah.
Like he was great in John Wick.
Mhm.
I never saw Lost, so
Oh.
I can't compare
He's
him
good
to
in
that.
everything, honestly. Apple's hilarious. He does drama well. Like, or he did. Like he was really good. Like very underrated. But I agree with you. Like this voice is in it.
Right. And I know we've had not a lot of Hellboy voices. There's Ron Perlman, of course,
Mm-hmm.
who to me is Hellboy. Like
Right. Yeah. It's pretty much
that
a
is the
definitive.
Hellboy
Yeah.
voice. Like every
Right.
time I read the comics now, it's his voice.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was perfect in that.
Mm-hmm.
And the other guy who did the last Hellboy movie, his voice wasn't bad. Like,
Right.
I hear the movie was terrible, but his voice was fine.
Right. No, I agree with you on that. And then we also had an animated Hellboy. Right?
Yeah, but who did that? Ron Perlman.
Oh, was it? Oh, you're right. It was
Yeah.
Never mind. But like
It
they were
was
like, why
perfect.
would we change this?
Right.
They're
Like they
"Well, we're gonna
knew.
get-" That's too funny.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah. And it's weird because I feel like Ron Perlman, like he's still active. Like they
Yeah.
could have got him. They
Mm.
just made the decision not to. And I'm
Well,
like, dude, just give him his money and make him be Hellboy.
listen, this game, and this is not a knock on the game, but the game is definitely like there's a budget for the game, and this game did not have Ron Perlman budget. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, honestly, I'm surprised they got like friggin' Lance before he passed away. Like, I'm just like I don't know. Like this dude was. I don't know if he was like I'll do it. I don't know because I'm like the game does a lot with what it has, but you can tell like just by how the game presents and plays that it's like okay, like no, this is definitely like all these concepts could be on a whole nother level if there was a budget for it. You know what I'm saying? It works really well with what it's got though, but they don't got Ron Perlman money, and that's why he's not in it. And,
Okay.
I could be listen. That's 100% speculation, but I feel like it's an educated speculation based on what I.
You can get like,
But I feel like I wouldn't have gone Lance. Like I would have gone like oh boy, that did Hulk and Hulk versus I think Steve Bloom, is that who did Hulk?
Or the dude from
remember.
what's his name? The dude that did the from Everybody Loves Raymond, but not Raymond, the other guy, his brother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, listen, I'm sure. Like, I can't imagine that they're not like sound
because he did Lobo. He did Lobo on the like he was Lobo on like was it Justice League Unlimited and all those. So like he could have been Hellboy. Yeah.
Anyone that's done Lobo can do Hellboy.
Even Lance Reddick could have done it. It's just the choice that he chose to do it was the wrong choice. I feel like he could have done it. He just the guy that got kicked
add a little gravel
could have done it too.
The guy that what 300?
The got kicked in the chest in 300.
Oh,
like,
this is madness.
Yeah, He could have done it.
Yeah.
You know, he just don't have to do an accent. He doesn't have. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Oh, Fred Tatasciore. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I mean, did either one of you get to like an actual boss?
Yeah. I got killed by a boss.
No, I just did the prologue.
Got you. Right, right. See, and I feel like, I understand, like, you had like technical issues, um, with the deck at first or whatever. But yeah, I feel like the prologue, like, is definitely like it doesn't quite give you the full sense of the game because you don't even get to do any of like the leveling up of any of your like abilities or anything like that because that stuff doesn't unlock until after that, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know the
Um,
weapons unlock after.
yeah, you get weapons and you get
A gun
charms.
unlock.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't like the way they
Yeah.
were talking about them.
Talk about
But
who
I
the
would
gun.
have to try it more. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they were doing that roguelike BS.
What's that roguelike BSJ?
Where everything goes away after the next level.
What do you mean? I'm sorry.
All your upgrades.
Yeah, you basically upgrade and then you do your level, then it resets back to 0.
Oh, I don't. That's not how it works though, right?
I don't know. That's that roguelike BS.
Oh, I don't think that's how it works. I could be wrong.
That's how they made it sound.
Oh.
Like, it might not be, but that's what he made it sound like.
Did you die, Mo? Did your stuff reset?
Honestly, I was high as fuck. I don't remember. Like, I mean, I know I did die. I played again, but I didn't like. I don't know if it's the type of player I am at, but like it's like I just fucked everybody. I fucked up everybody that I needed to fuck up, and then I died, woke up, fucked them up again. Like I didn't think about like what my capacity was and stuff. I don't think the
Right.
gun capacity. Yeah, I don't think the gun capacity diminished after I died, but I'm like I did because I just did a lot of melee shit too. Like come here,
Right.
motherfucker.
Right.
I'm Hellboy. I got the red right hand of doom. Like I'm gonna
Right.
fuck him up. I don't need no fucking
Right.
I don't need to wake up the baby. But Nick
Um,
and Temple says, I thought this game was based on the animated movie that came out a few years ago. They even have the same art style. Are they not? This is not based on that, and this is where I give some of the games some like good credit, where the story feels it feels like that movie because of the same art, but that's also the art of the comic. So that
Mhm.
movie feels like comic, and then this feels like the comic too. And the art style is the same because it's based on Mike Mignola's art, and that's where this game kind of shines for me, where it's like it feels like you're playing a comic book, a Hellboy comic book. And for me, it's like, you know what? I don't have time to play the game. Just give me the trade paperback already. Like I'll take the graphic, you know, adaptation of the
Right.
game.
Right.
Yeah.
No, and I agree with you. Like the game definitely, like the art style of the game looks like the comic. It's definitely, I think, what got all of our attention initially was just like, oh wow, like that's crazy because like Mike Mignola's art is so specific to him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's very much I feel like he's one of those artists where it's like whenever he's doing his style, like there's no mistaking who it is. you know?
Yeah.
And so
You know what's really
when you see
good
a
like this?
game, what?
What like is The Witcher on Dark Horse? The Witcher
Uh-huh.
comics are
Hmm.
they're done in that art style, like a Hellboy type art style. Mignola does some the covers, but then they get a
Really?
Mignola like
I like
impersonator to do the interior art,
yeah.
you know?
Oh, that's
So it
interesting.
has like a Hellboy feel, but with like The Witcher.
Yeah.
And so those stories are really like not only are the stories good because they're just good stories, some of them follow the novels a little bit, but you get other like Gerald stories like in canon, but like around not the main narrative of the novels. And it's
Right.
in that style where it's like it's a Hellboy like art style where he's fucking up all these demons and shit, you know?
Right. Right. But yeah, man, like I was actually like, like I was really impressed with the the way that the game looks, um as far as like its art style or whatever, because like I said, it's like the comic and it's moving, so that's cool, and like the animations are pretty good, like they're not great, but they're getting there, you know what I'm saying? And but at the same time, it's kind of like, I mean, it looks like the comic and the comic doesn't even move. So
Yeah.
so it's hard to be like, oh, this should be more fluid because like that's what I'm used to. It's like, no, it's not. Like, your joint is static. But at the same time, the wild part is, and this was something that kind of threw me, was I was a little disappointed by the uh the cutscenes, because
Mm,
the cutscenes kind of try to do like a comic kind of thing too,
yeah,
but for whatever reason, it doesn't work. It's not working for me the way that it should. Like, and
uh,
comic book style cutscenes aren't new to video games, right? It's like, like, and you know what it is that I guess what I was expecting is like something a little motion comic esque. And I'm not
yeah,
talking about like full on, like, I'm not saying it has to be like friggin', what is it, Marvel Infinity or anything with
yeah,
like fully animated sections or anything like that. But I was just like, and this is how, again, like where I'm like, okay, this is the budget. Like these fools skimped on the cutscenes, and it feels like they skimped on the cutscenes, and I'm just like, oh, that sucks. Yeah,
and that's kind of the detriment of the game too, where it's like it feels cheap. Yeah, like it feels like a indie arcade game. You know what I mean?
and that's the thing. Cheap is too harsh because I feel like cheap denotes a certain level of quality, and I don't feel like the game is not cheap.
Yeah,
It's budget. You know what I mean? Where it's kind of like, and I understand for some people that's the same thing, right? They're like, I only want to, some people only want to play AAA, right?
yeah.
Like anything below that, they're like, why would I even waste my time? And I get
Yeah.
that. What I'm
But
saying
it's
though is that, uh-huh,
no. I was like, if the game experience is good, like an indie game could be tight. Like, and that's
of course.
maybe I did speak a little too harshly to call it cheap, but but
No,
it's
but
the budget. It's like it could be a
yeah,
little better.
yeah. And that's the thing, again, like what I was saying, where, I kind of feel like if they had more money to flesh out the same concepts they're already doing, like just like I said, like that's the difference between, like, when I'm talking about the animations in the game, right? It's like they're good, but they're not great. If you had more money, they could have been great. You know what I'm saying? Because you had more people to work on it. You got more, maybe potentially more time to like, you know, flesh that stuff out. And then, definitely with the cutscenes I feel like is like they had to have them, so, to progress the story, and they did what they had to do with it. Like, who knows? It might be a small team for all I know. I don't even know how many people made this game, but it's not bad. It's just that you can tell that there's some places where resources went and other places it did not. Let's take a tugboat talking about, Jay.
He says, okay, just read it. It is a roguelike. The majority of the areas are randomly generated, and if you die, you do get sent back, but not all the way to the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't think you lose the progress. I think that the progress stays, I think, and that's why it's the roguelike, right? Because
No, the roguelike is the progress doesn't stay at that.
I
All the
mean,
roguelikes I played,
but then
there's
I mean
no.
that's basically like starting like I was under the impression like with roguelites, like when you like the whole point of the roguelike is that you play through like say or initially is you play through the game, right? And then you progress or you get like points or whatever progression wise to like strengthen your character. But then you start like when you die, you start back at basically the beginning. But it's the beginning of the level or whatever, or the beginning of it could be like level, it could be the beginning of the game, but whatever progress you made to strengthen your character, you get to keep. And then that way, it's like it's not as much of a slog going through it again because like you're better prepared from a character perspective. I thought that's like the roguelike formula, but
Oh, the roguelikes I played don't do that.
so you progress, you die, and then you have to start completely over from the beginning of everything.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, like that's just what games were back in the day. Like, why is that a roguelike? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like why that's not a genre. That's just but okay, Mm. But yeah, man. Uh it's it's interesting because I was like, like the game also has like and I know that, you didn't get too far into it, Jay, but it has like, combos and stuff that you eventually like get to get to learn. You have like finishers and things like that as well. And I mean, like that aspect of things, I was like, this is actually pretty cool. Like, I did not, I it wasn't, I didn't expect that necessarily from the game because I already knew it was like more of like an indie kind of deal. So I wasn't necessarily expecting a lot of bells and whistles, but I was like, no, this is actually pretty cool. Um, it definitely has like it falls into a little bit of a pattern where it's like kind of like hey dodge punch punch break a barrier or dodge but it's whatchamacallit but like the enemies as you progress further like they kind of start getting more varied and you have to do different things to mess around and like either break defenses or to tire them out and all that kind of stuff. And I found it pretty interesting, honestly.
Did you when in my pre-production chat with Oz where I'm like, oh, you can fake it. All you have to do is this and for the game. Just say this, and that. Like you think that was an accurate representation of the game? A little bit, like if you just wanted to be like negative about it.
What? I don't remember what you said. What did
Oh,
you say?
because it was like, oh, just yeah, I didn't like the voice. The sound mixing was off, so you couldn't hear the voice. You know, and then the backgrounds are like regenerating, but they're just the same backgrounds like throughout like the first hour of the game. Yeah,
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think if you wanted to criticize it, you could say that for the most part. Like, I mean, maybe not the first hour, but definitely like the
yeah,
first,
like
depending on how fast you play.
5
Like, I know my first hour was probably the same backgrounds, but I think most people would get through it quicker. So, I took my
Okay.
time and broke some stuff. But that's another thing too. Like even the idea, like like you have like destructible portions of the environment, and all those destructible portions of the environment, like it's basically like six things, and it's all you're breaking is those six things, and then it's like they put them like periodically through the level, and it's just like I don't know, like why, like because they don't give you like health power ups or well maybe one or two of them do, you know what I'm saying, but generally speaking they don't. So it's just like okay, so I don't know. Like I don't know what they're there for. It's a weird thing, and that's kind of like the whole. Like it felt to me like okay, that might have been an idea that somebody had, and they're like we should do
like
it this way.
I felt that way about the hoist. It's
About the
like
what?
hoisting yourself over the fence.
Yeah.
There was no
Yeah.
need for that. Like, why did you do that?
It's true. It's true. It was just like, some parts of the some parts of the game are there, and it's just like, okay, yeah, like there was probably something else that was supposed to be done with it, but it didn't get included for budgetary or time reasons, and they're like, well, we're not gonna take it out because that's work too. So, in the 6 destructible items, they stay in. Hoist stays in. Yeah.
The game
But
itself,
it
like
did.
you
Mhm.
think of a story that like gives you a comic book type story and a game experience. Do you feel the game as a whole does that well for you?
I, I,
Like,
I was about to say, yeah, no, it feels like a Hellboy comic to me.
uh,
Um, it's like, don't get me wrong, it's um, like the story definitely is the kind of story that Hellboy I feel would tell.
mhm,
Obviously, like the way that the game plays, like there's some aspects or some moments when I definitely felt like, oh man, I'm Hellboy. And then there are other moments where I'm like, okay, I'm pushing buttons. And it's not like it's not fun. It's just like
yeah,
it's a less epic feeling.
yeah. Do you remember the Hellboy movie game? Did you play that?
I don't remember Hellboy movie game. No.
Me
Man,
neither.
like that was the one from the first Hellboy movie.
No, I'm thinking it's the Golden Army, but I could be wrong.
Hmm.
But yeah, I don't remember
How
how
was
that
that
game
one?
played, but it was kind of more like a God of War type, clone.
Mm.
But which is kind of what this feels a little bit, but it's just done in a different way, like the roguelike, which I didn't know what that meant till like 5 minutes ago, and I don't think I know. But
Well, we're
but
we're disputing it, Mo. Like apparently we have some disputes on what it means.
yeah. But I do feel like the story, like again, like the story that's there. I wanna know. So can you just give it to me on Comixology? I mean Kindle. Like, yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I yeah, yeah. No, I think I feel you. I feel where you're coming from with that. Should we rate it?
Yes.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Jay, what would you rate Hellboy Web of Word?
I would give the prologue a 3 out of 5. Um, yeah, it's not bad. It looks good. Um, you do need to turn on the motion button or option, but yeah, it looks fine. It plays okay. Like, I'm not sure I'm gonna go back to it, but it's fine.
Now, when you say the motion, you have to turn on the motion option. What's that mean?
I think it's motion smoothing because otherwise it looks a little bit choppy.
Mm. Got you. Got you.
I,
Okay,
I don't
cool.
I don't think I have that option.
That's because you don't have a Steam Deck.
Yeah.
He told you, Mo.
Yeah.
More told myself.
Mo,
Mr.
Mo,
Moneybags humiliate me for not being able to afford that. But Black
No, I
Friday
should
is
just buy stuff on Switch. I should just play stuff on Switch.
Moses Magnum.
Yeah,
What would Hellboy Web of Word?
I would do 3 out of 5 too. Like the game is a solid game, and the because part of playing a game is doing these repetitive things in a fun way. Like that's what games are. So I feel this game achieves that too, while giving you a Hellboy story. So it's definitely 3 for sure. I haven't been wowed by it yet. So maybe when I finish it, I can give you a full, more in-depth rating, accurate rating. But as of now, it's a 3. Like it still doesn't feel like, it feels like God of War. It felt more like God of War. With Hellboy, it'd be a different thing.
Right.
And then when you think like of a comic book type game, then it's like, well, yeah, I kind of like the Telltale games for that. I love the Fables and Batman. So
Right.
they seem to do that well. Yeah.
Right.
But this one is somewhere in between those both. Like it almost feels in between both those genres, but it's just not. It's not standing out as like the outlier. Like that. Okay, this is a new way of doing comic book games.
Right. Right. Yeah, I think I'd give it a 3.5 myself. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed playing it. There is like like I said, I have to um say that it definitely feels like it's a budget title, and there's some compromises that got made along the way from the developing or developer standpoint. But I think the core mechanics are pretty good, and I think the game is fun. What I think is, I think I will go back to it, um, just to play. But what I'm thinking for real is this is going to be like probably a go-to kind of airplane game. Like when I have to turn off my Wi-Fi and I want to play something. It's like I could totally see this like trip to trip back, and make some decent progression. And it's like, yeah, if I'm as long as I'm flying enough, I'll beat it. So
have you played it on the big screen with a Pro controller?
oh yeah, no, that's how I started playing it, and it would definitely be my preferred way to play it. Like, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but what I'm saying is, I do feel like it's the kind of game where it's like I could play it handheld and I would have a good time playing it. I mean, technically, I could still play it even on the plane with a Pro controller,
Yeah, just
and
on the
just kind of like,
screen.
yeah, like just kind of like mount the switch or whatever.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, it was good. Like it was definitely it's interesting because I don't know if I want to say like it lived up to what I was hoping it would be in some ways, and in other
Yeah.
ways it didn't. But
Yeah.
all in all, I played it and having a good time. I didn't feel like I was wasting my time playing this game, so that's cool.
When I was talking to some clients, in the past couple of weeks, they're like, "You playing anything good right now?" And I'm like, "No," I'm like, I went back to Fable 2 because I had no Wi-Fi, and and so I collected all my money and I married another whore. Yeah, so but
As one does.
but I told them like, I did get that Hellboy, and in talking about it, he bought it after because he's
Oh
like,
wow.
he's like, I just like how the idea that it feels like the comic book but in motion, but
Mhm.
not in motion comic-y way, like the generating
Right.
background. So in the art
Right.
style, that to me gets annoying. The generating backgrounds, like it's just
Mhm.
not. They feel too two-dimensional. But
Mhm.
he's read the comics here and there, and he likes playing games. So he's like, I want to see what this experience is like, even if it is
Yeah.
two-dimensional. Like he wants to know what two-dimensional looks like. So
Mhm.
and yeah, he enjoyed it. He probably finished it already. But
right.
he liked the character in the movie, so he's like, oh yeah, I can get with that. Like I want to see what a more of a comic book story would be like, And I'm like,
Hmm.
right, I go, well, you read fucking comics,
There it is.
but he doesn't
There it is.
read comics. But, yeah.
All right. Well, look. Speaking of which, let's do some comic book reviews.
Scary comic book review. Scary comic book like review. Well, not like that, but like.
Indeed, scary comic book reviews. Oh, Mo, like that's how scared Mo got. He's like, I'm out.
Yeah, I was debating whether we should play that for this comic.
Because you're too scared to play it, Jay. You're like, it's so terrifying. I don't want to upset the comic by playing, like, by calling it scary. It might hurt me. I get it, Jay.
Yeah, it's not scary.
Jay
But
is so terrified by.
I'm trying to think, like, if I was in the target demographic, would it be better? And the answer is maybe. Like,
But like, who is?
I grew up watching Erie, Indiana, and Are You Afraid of the Dark? Like stuff like that. So, I'm wondering if I was still in that mindset, would this have been better? And
I don't appreciate
maybe
you I don't appreciate you trying to make it seem as like Erie, Indiana is not freaking pulse pounding and intense. I don't appreciate that.
I mean, yeah, the dog episode is still pretty scary, but the rest of them.
I'm just saying, man. Not gonna mess around and friggin' put blemishes on Erie, Indiana's name while I'm around.
I did have that kind of thing where it's like, okay, this is like, it's almost like a Mad Magazine like parody of a horror anthology comic. Like Larry, like Jay, you brought up Creep Show season 4, where Creep Show is an homage to like the EC Comics stuff, even though it's in movie adaptation form. Like this feels like it's kind of trying to do that, but it's almost like parodying it instead of actually adding to that as a genre.
Well, it's like, yeah, I see what you're saying. Like, I would say watering down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But because it is for kids.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like well, I don't want to say it's like Goosebumps, but because Goosebumps was good too. It's just this just
never
happens.
Saw it.
Oh yeah, this just happens to just not be that. From what it wants to be, it's just not that great. Yeah.
So we actually didn't say what it is or what it's about.
True. Yeah.
So
you're the Funhouse Toybox of Terror. Tell them, Jay. What is it?
It's a young Archie horror anthology. This volume is based on dolls. There's like a doll theme. So we've got 3 stories involving dolls and the messed up things that happens with them, from them, replacing your friends to killing your boss and other mischief.
Word. Yeah. No, that is all factual, Jay. Yeah. Here's the thing. I definitely understand that the 3 of us aren't the target demographic for this book. But
I
Mo's like, I am. Okay, Mo. Hey, you can be. I don't know that, if this is for like younger readers, I don't feel like this would have been for me when I was a younger reader either. And not because it's horror, but just because it's just like, I don't know, it just like no part of it from whether you talk about an anthology perspective, like it didn't really move me. I appreciated like the through lines, but even that didn't move me. I was just kind of like, well, this is in fact something. Like this does exist. No question on that. I've read it. Yeah. What about you, Mo? What do you think?
I'm kind of in the same boat where like I want to read this. Like I want like when I saw this on the solicitations, I'm like, I want to get this. And then on top of that, like Eddie from the Collectors, the Angelini, he did a variant cover, so I bought that variant
Mm-hmm.
cover, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
I actually didn't get to read my copy of it because I bought it with his variant cover, and then I'm having it graded because it's signed and everything, and it's
Mm-hmm.
being a fan of Eddie's work with the Collectors and
Yeah.
fan of him as a person, like you can
Mm-hmm.
see our
Yeah.
interviews with him, like you know what? I my first book, like his cover for Archie, like his art style, his sensibility, like fits with the way that Archie does their books in a sense. So
Mm-hmm.
you could see that influence on him. So I'm like, that being a cover that he does, I'm like, I'm in, and
Mm-hmm.
so I got to read it after while my copy is being graded, and it's like, yeah, no, we've been privy to Archie horror. We know they can do it.
Yeah.
Uh, this should have been a little more. When you talk about the target demographic, it's like, hey, we're the ones with money here. I bought it, yeah, on the solicitation. Like,
Right.
it should be, for me, not some kid with no money, right? It's but but yeah, but even as in general, like as a genre, like for kid horror, like it doesn't do it doesn't hit where it needs to hit in the sense like a lot of these stories are more Twilight Zoney. Like they should be more Twilight Zoney, even if they're not that scary.
Mm-hmm.
Because for kids, they should still have a little bit of a moral twist at the end.
Right.
And I feel like they just didn't have that.
I agree.
Like
I agree, man.
everything that's happening, and it's like okay, like you got that. Was it like Evelyn Never Never or whatever? Like that's a
Right.
character that's tight. You can do a lot of shit with that character, especially in a book like this, and it didn't go anywhere. Yeah,
Now, who is Evelyn Ever Never in the Archie, I guess, mythos?
she's
Because
like
I'm like, I've never.
a goth chick, like, but even back
A
then,
goth
like she
chick.
was, yeah, she's like alternative, like she's separate from everybody else. You know,
Mm.
whatever reason, like subculture type person. Yeah,
Mm.
we're thinking like if you
I
think
didn't
of
get
like.
that in this book at all.
Yeah, no, they've redesigned her a lot, and even in the show, like the show is a little darker, and when she's in the show, she's like not even out of
Are you talking about
place.
Riverdale?
Yeah, so
Okay.
when she's in that show, like she doesn't feel out of place either. Like so, because the show is that, yeah. Like for
Right.
me, the ideal Archie show or movie would feel more like Happy Days to me.
Mm.
And then, but if you want to add the stuff like how the show did, like you can do that still because we've seen it with Archie horror and was Chilling Tales of Sorcery and stuff like that, like
Mm-hmm.
in the past and in newer incarnations of Archie horror stuff. They've done it in the
Mm-hmm.
past, so you can do it. It's just it's like the Happy Days fucking Halloween special, and it's just you can.
Right.
And nowadays, you can literally make that like or that '70s show if you want to get more modern, but do like a
Right.
crazy, oh, okay, it's that '70s show horror movie, and you could go as
Mm-hmm.
crazy as you want, you know. And I felt like this book could have benefited from just going that route a little more, you know.
Yeah, no, I can definitely see that. Um, yeah, like, what did you all think about the different art styles? Because it is a horror anthology, so you have different people doing the writing and art in the different sections. And at some points, I think we do have like artists that return or whatever. But what do you think of it generally? Let's start with you, Jay. What do you think of the art for this book?
I thought it was okay. Like some better than others.
Right.
I think the last story brings the least as far as art goes.
Okay.
Because the other stories, at least the art was trying to be like a creepy style.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, overall, I thought the art was okay.
Okay. What about you, Mo?
I like the art. I like the lettering. I don't know if it was Richard Starkings, but I know I definitely saw some Comic Craft fonts in there. So
Gotcha.
I felt it all worked well. The sketchy art for Evelyn Never Never, like that one, like through
Mhm.
lines connects kind of
Yeah.
everything. I feel like that art I really enjoyed, but the story itself wasn't as good as the art. Like
Yeah.
it just didn't really go anywhere. And when you're doing a yearly one shot book, like this is your Halloween celebration for your publisher, for your brand, like I feel
Hmm.
like you need to do better. Like it's almost like when we did the Dead Man book too, where it's like,
Right.
I love Dead. It's almost like child horror. Like in reading this one and then reading, like, puts the Dead Man book in a higher level. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
I don't know if you got that because my internet was acting up, but yeah.
Uh, we
I
got
missed a
most of
little
it.
bit of it.
I
The
like
last part of
I
it
don't know if
just
Jay
now you did
remembers
reading it.
Hmm?
what it is. I feel like Jay, remember the Dead Man Halloween special we did last year?
Oh yeah,
That was
that was
kind of like
also for
another like a
kids.
children's book.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Oh,
right.
you keep bringing us
But when
kids
you compare
books.
these two, like I don't know. Like I love horror and I'm a kid at heart, I guess. Like, you know,
Too funny.
like I don't know. Maybe look, you want to find out the answer, talk to my therapist, all right? Don't ask me. He knows. Or she.
Yeah.
Is Evelyn
But
Ever
yeah,
a new
it's weird. Like I
character?
just thought about she's not she's new, but not that new. Like they've had her in other stuff before. I want to say in the last like 10 years, maybe.
Oh, I don't see her in the encyclopedia.
Yeah.
Do you see Cheryl?
That's just because the encyclopedia.
Obviously.
Yeah. Cheryl, that's not new. Like
Yeah, all
we
No.
we
her
we li- we, we reviewed
like
Blossom
every
666. Yeah.
we have every the encyclopedia has every variation of Cheryl except for this doll version.
Yeah.
Then it ain't worth a damn.
Well,
No,
look,
it
They
is.
they went out on a limb with that friggin' acronym. What was it, like
Shit 3.
cybernetic humanoid 3. I was like, ugh. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
Cheryl.
I love reading when I read the little like blurb on previews, It's like, oh,
Hmm.
it's for fans of Megan, you know. And then I'm like, well, I had my issues with that movie, but then really like the Cheryl thing is just like Megan, but it, less satisfying.
But for
Yeah.
kids.
Which is
Yeah.
crazy because it's like,
I feel Megan is
I don't
already
know.
for kids.
Kinda.
It is.
It's it's so funny though because it's like, what person is like, oh, I have this doll that looks just like this person that I wanted to be my best friend, and they have the same name, and like I'm gonna take this to school, and it's like, why doesn't that person have any shame? Or she's like, if I take this to school, they're totally gonna think I'm on Cheryl's jock. Like, even
Well,
if
it's like
you don't care about that part, it's like, what part makes you not feel like, oh well, Cheryl might be weirded out by the fact that there's a robot version of her?
well, because it's for kids. If it was for adults, it'd be like when that time I had my Larry Young fleshlight and you came and got your haircut, and I'm like, oh wait, this is awkward.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
It's kind of funny. That does happen in Hell of a Boss. Like one of the characters has dolls made of him and like sold out like as merchandise, and people can fuck him.
Oh my god!
And he finds out, and it's like he's like disgusting.
Well, remember, Font B wanted to make those of us to sell for the show back in the day. Like you get a 3D printed maquette of you, and so you can do whatever you want to it. And like, what do you mean whatever you want to it?
You ain't gonna get that juju put on me, Von B.
Yeah,
you ain't gonna get that juju put on me.
That'd be a good like podcast cyber horror movie. It's like, oh, you 3D printed one of your favorite YouTubers, and now it's a voodoo doll.
Yeah.
How's 3D printing gonna
man.
affect like Santeria shit? You know?
Like the modern Santeria.
Yeah.
Other voodoo dolls are 3D printed.
Again, I'm going into one of my violent tangents. Sorry.
It's like literally, it's like Facebook pictures 3D printed of you.
Yeah.
They're doing different stuff.
It's like that. Does spiritualism like that evolve, like technology? Yeah.
I mean, hey,
Yeah.
depends on how your gods, if their gods embrace or frown upon it, right?
I'm gonna go on a limb and say no.
It's like Cthulhu's like, you know what? I have to take that off.
Yeah.
So, do we have anything else we need to say about Fear the Funhouse?
I love my variant cover.
Yes. Shout out to Eddie.
Yeah. I'm gonna get a 9.8. Hopefully, I'm like CGC.
Who did the variant?
Eddie D'Angelini.
Yeah.
Jay,
You know
like,
Eddie
I don't know.
D'Angelini, Jay.
Like,
Huh?
who's
Like,
this?
we talked to him at almost every con, Jay.
How do you spell his name? E-D.
No, I'm trying to bring up the cover for the people because Mo's mentioned it. Like,
yeah, no, we know what you're doing, Jay. What we're saying is your absentee aspect, where you're just like, what's his name? Like, this dude has like given you comics, like, and when I say that, I don't mean like through us. I mean like to you in your hand.
Yeah, like we picked up our Fantastic Four.
I didn't hear. Like I didn't hear his name. That's it.
Yeah.
Like I love Eddie D'Angelini. I love his comic. It's amazing.
There's pictures of us broadcasting from his store when it opened.
There it is. Like Eddie D'Angelini has put you into the collectors like 2 times at this point, Jay.
Yeah.
You specifically. Each time in the comic. Each time in the comic, he's written you in as a character that doesn't know who he is. Who? D'Angelini? He's like, that's my favorite pasta. Okay. Were you able to
I can't find it.
Oh, okay. You all you all rate it, and I'll see if I can find it real quick. Most internet's active.
Oh no, not the internet.
Most internet's gone. It's Fun House of what now?
Fear the Fun House.
That's what
Toybox of Terror.
Fear the Fun House. It's like you got to be like
The
Fear the Fun
banner's
House.
literally right under me.
I've never heard of it. I've never heard of it, Jay. It's like which yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
So I forgot. Are we rating? Did Mo rate it?
Yeah. No. Now's
Okay.
the time. Like I'm sure Mo will be back. Hopefully he's back in enough time to rate it. So yeah, what would you rate?
I would give this a 2 out of 5. I just wasn't scared or laughing.
There it is.
Yeah. No, the art was decent, but unfortunately it did not carry the stories far enough.
Yeah.
To me. I actually like the first volume a lot better. And I was meh on that one.
Okay.
Yeah,
so then
told you it's a brand. Fear the Funhouse, we did that last year. And this is Fear the Funhouse Toybox of Terror.
But is what I'm asking is this like, so this is only the second one?
I believe so.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that.
Right. I won't quote you. Moses. Moses not ready yet. Sorry. I tried to bring him in. But I brought him in too soon. He was like, hey. He's like, I'll bring myself in. He doesn't want to be on. Wait, he wants to be in now?
No, he does.
You want
he
in
says,
now?
Get me in. But I think I tried to get him in as you tried to.
Oh, bring him back, Jay. I won't touch it.
I'm having connectivity problems. So I had a failsafe because I knew before the show that I was gonna,
There's a potential issue.
Yeah, so this is the other setup that I was gonna do, but I have no control. I can't put myself in. I can't look at comments. I can't do shit. So you need to bring me in here.
We brought you in.
Okay.
We're happy you're here.
Mm-hmm. I don't like my lighting.
Jay, change his lighting, Jay.
He can't.
Jay, don't do him like that.
If I could, I would.
Change the lighting.
I would give it a crimson kind of glow if I could.
I'm gonna use this pizza plate as a reflector.
Okay, good. Look, MacGyver.
There we go. Look, I look good now. I look beautiful. I look beautiful now.
As usual.
Yeah.
So what would you rate? Did you rate Toybox yet?
Oh no, I didn't. But it's a 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not that great. Like, I wanted more from it, but I guess I'm spoiled by like Chilling Adventures of Sabrina and Chilling Tales of Sorcery. So like I expect more from Archie, which is like it's a sentence I didn't think I'd ever say. I expect more from Archie comics, but they spoiled me by having really good like horror shit. It's just this one's more on the kiddie line, and even as a kid, it's like it's not the greatest. So
yeah. Yeah, no,
Okay.
I think I'm in line with you all, where I would give it a 2 as well. Um, yeah, it just I didn't like it, and it's not terrible. Like I'm sure somebody likes it, but I'm not that somebody.
But you're not
So
even like
um,
scared by it or nothing. Like it didn't really like
doesn't
do
resonate in
anything
any way.
in any way. Yeah, which is like, see, that's the beauty of like the EC horror or like even creep show.
Mhm.
Even if it's bad, you can laugh at it, and it's like,
Mhm.
okay, but at least they did this. Like I'm from the philosophy that every horror movie is a good movie. It's just not necessarily a good movie, but you're gonna have fun watching it. But you talk about that bad movie more than you talk about movies you love with somebody, and
Mhm.
and those movies make an impact. Like I keep wanting to share the experience of watching Ghoulies 3 with my wife, and Emily doesn't want to watch Ghoulies 3. And I had to watch
The only one.
Slaughterhouse by myself.
Oh, I almost wanted to see that,
Oh,
but it
dude, you
was in
should.
theaters. Like
Yeah,
at a batch. Like when it was in theaters, it only had like one showtime, and it was only
yeah,
for like 2 days, like in the middle of the week.
yeah.
This
It's
was that
so
I
good.
almost wanted to go see that.
Like I probably would have ended up seeing it if it
Right.
had been like a regular in theaters
Showing.
regularly.
Right.
It's
But
like,
no, they made it like hard, and
yeah.
I don't like. I'm not timing my bus ride to get out there. Like not for Slaughterhouse.
And the thing is,
Like
it
I'll
came out
catch
on.
it on streaming.
It's on Hulu. And
I don't have
probably.
Hulu. Fuck Hulu. Damn
Yeah.
it. Like, why are their horror movies so interesting? I don't understand.
They like Hulu like really just puts in on horror stuff. They really go all in. Like they had a live variety show with the Goulet brothers, like this drag horror, uh, and they had skits. It was almost like a Saturday Night Live, but it was like 4 hours or some shit. And they had like, it was a variety show hosted by these drag queens, and the shit was amazing. Like I loved it. But it's just Hulu like really puts in for the horror. Like they call it Huluween around the time, and and that's when Slaughterhouse came out, and nobody wanted to watch it except me.
Like,
Uh,
if Slaughterhouse had been out when I watched, uh,
can
when I
you
watched,
explain? Can you explain what Slaughterhouse is to Larry? Because I don't think Larry knows
I
why
do
we're.
not, and I was getting ready to ask because I'm like, I keep hearing you all say Slaughterhouse, and I'm just like,
because it's a sorority house that's being
mm-hmm,
killed by a sloth.
mm.
So
As happens
Slaughterhouse.
sometimes. Got it,
Uh,
got it. As is the case at times. You're right. You're
it's a
right.
slow. So the slasher is because sloths have those claws, so he
No,
literally slashes them. You know,
I
he
get it.
just.
That's pretty funny.
But it's so good. I love the movie. Like
That's funny.
I love
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
But and again, it's not the greatest movie. It's not the greatest slasher movie, but it is a different take on it. And look, and it works. Like it's like I would put that against like Black Christmas, the remake, easily.
Oh my god, that was so bad.
Yeah, but it's still good though. Like it's bad, but you still have fun watching it. And when you watch it with friends, you're gonna laugh at it.
At the Black Christmas?
Yeah.
No, that wasn't. No, that was just
Jay's not.
like, and the whole message. I didn't like. Yeah, I
Jay
don't.
has physical
I didn't.
discomfort.
I didn't have fun watching that movie. Like, I had more fun with Assassination Nation, but that wasn't a horror movie. But it had the same themes,
right?
So like men bad, but like done
bad.
much better. Yeah, that's all the Black Christmas is men bad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. It's not black men, is it?
One of them.
Oh, that's okay. If it's just one, that's okay.
But yeah, and see, that's the thing. Like, yeah, I don't get the men bad aspect of it, but Sloth and Slaughterhouse, Sloth bad.
Like you're talking about the one where they were the guy was, what was he doing? He had the statue and he was brainwashing all the guys to hate women.
No, Black Christmas is the killer is in the house and kills the girl, and then they report her missing, and there's this whole investigation, and then the killer is killing everybody in the sorority house while everybody's gone. The few girls that stayed for Christmas that didn't go home get slaughtered.
Oh, that's the original remake. I thought you were talking about the re-remake.
Wait, what?
It came out
That's
like
how that works.
It came
Can't
out
be
like
an original remake and a re-remake, right?
Yeah, like the Black Christmas he's talking about was a remake.
Yeah,
but they remade it again after that, and that one was where the guy was brainwashing dudes to like hate women.
Yeah,
and then they
I didn't
had
watch.
to fight back.
I didn't watch that one.
It came out, not too long ago, within the last 5 years. But yeah, I thought you were talking about that one.
No, but yeah, I without watching that, I would put Slaughterhouse against that.
Don't sully Slaughterhouse with that movie.
Because there was the original Black Christmas, and then there was the remake that came out like in 2005. I saw it in the theater, and on Christmas Day actually. It was cool.
Really?
And nobody was in the theater except me and the 3 other people I went with, and yeah, it was fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
All this to say that Toybox of Terror doesn't have that bad horror movie.
Exactly.
Like the whatever redeeming quality of bad or crappy horror movie, like
entertainment.
Right. Like literally even talking about the 2 remakes of Black Christmas is more interesting than Toybox of Terror.
100%. I feel like I feel much more compelled to check out those other joints than.
And it's it came out in 2019.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I haven't seen that.
So yeah, it's not good.
The remake.
I'm gonna get you a screener for Slaughterhouse because it's gonna be up for a SAG award or something. So I'm gonna make sure you're on that list, Jay.
Okay.
It's gonna be a People's Choice Award.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You guys ready to talk some Scavengers Reign?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Uh-oh.
Okay, hold on. Sorry, I'm here.
Uh-oh. No, it's okay,
And
Jay.
I've got
just pause Final
bumper.
Fantasy.
You can't pause it. It's online.
A lot of games are online.
Also,
no one needs more about gel coat.
When the 4th round would...
Don't you call it?
Does it look good already? Jumbo Scampi for limited.
I don't appreciate how Jay just spoke to me like I was a soccer mom that doesn't understand video games. And can't pause it, Mom. It's online. Boy, I will shut off the internet. Shut off the whole internet. Is the game paused now? That's what I thought. Pause your whole little fake digital career.
So this is our second time talking Scavengers Reign. We talked about it when it started. Now it's finished. We have a complete story. We are going to be going over spoilers. So if you have not seen it yet, just hit pause, go watch the 12 episodes, and then come back.
Real quick. If you do it right, before we finish the conversation, you'll be able to catch the tail end of it. Right. Uh-oh. We lost one Moses. Oh, we gained another Moses. What? Look at this, boy. The Moses giveth, the Moses taketh away.
It's seamless. I fuck around and shit goes south, but I manage it.
Right. Okay.
Like the scavenger holds reigns.
Oh, dude. So, which one of you all want to like friggin' tell the people, like, because this might be the first time they're having this, like, hearing the beginning of this conversation. They might have missed our Scavengers Reign episode. Who wants to tell the people what Scavengers Reign is?
I did it last time, so Jay, you do it this time.
Okay, so there's a ship. It's in trouble. Wait, no, I did that wrong. So Scavengers Reign is about 3 groups of people that have survived a cataclysmic disaster on their ship. They're on this planet, this alien planet, and they're trying to survive. We get the captain and another girl. I don't know what her position is. I don't remember if they say. But they're surviving on one part of the planet. We have Ozzy and Levi, a girl and a robot on one side. And then we have that son of a bitch that fucked everything up being, I don't know, getting into an abusive relationship with the alien that like treats him like shit, but he keeps coming back for more.
But also that alien was treated like shit by his own tribe too. Like it's an endless cycle,
That's no excuse.
It's not, but it is that dynamic. Like explaining that to the dynamic really like cements it into how fucked up it is. Like you have to add to it, because he is the shitty version of his race. Like,
yeah, and so each group has their own trials and tribulations. The captain and the girl just keep getting like poked by shit. Ozzy's
so appropriate.
Ozzy's Levi starts to gain self-awareness and feeling. And
would you just explain that Levi's a robot? Yeah,
I think I did, right?
You did say it was a robot before, but yeah, Levi. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And it's just their adventure, and they're surviving, and everything is alien and crazy, and it's honestly a little overwhelming at first, because it's so different from what we know. And episode 1 honestly was a little overwhelming for me, and that's why I asked if we could review it to make me keep going. And I'm so glad I did, because it just keeps getting better and better and weirder and weirder. And I know some people had an issue with the body horror stuff, but I didn't. Like I was in for that. Yeah.
It's wild though, because like you hit the nail on the head, Jay, when you're like, it's so alien and so different. And it's like this is like something like, obviously, we watch our fair amount of sci-fi on Fantastic Four. What are you gonna say, Mom?
No. Go. You finish your thought, because I explained it to the dude that we talked to at the shop today. Like I showed him the trailer because he asked me what I was watching. I'm like, you got to see this. Take some mushrooms, have them be circuitry, and then watch this. Yeah. And I explained it to him a certain way, but go ahead and then
okay. But it's wild just because we watch our fair share of sci-fi here, and it's like like everybody's trying to create worlds that feel alien, but Scavengers Reign does such a good job where it's just like, what is that, and why is it doing that, and what's happening, and oh my god, why are they touching it? Like and then like I feel like the first episode I watched it and I was like, yeah, man, like this is really like if these folks are like on this planet and it's tough, you know what I'm saying? It's just alien, they don't know. But I feel like by episode 3, I was like, you know what? These people did something to this planet. Because everything, like, this is personal. You know what I'm saying? Like, this planet wants these people dead so bad that it can't just be coincidence. It can't just be like, oh, this is just the flora and fauna. It's like, no. What y'all do to this planet? Y'all just
it's not
like I was waiting for the episode where they're like, damn, that ship done injected something into the planet to try to like take all its resources. So, like it felt like it had to be personal at a certain point where it's like, damn, everything kills them. Everything. The plants, the animals, the air, the water, the rain, the clouds, everything. Like, damn, it's messed up.
That's the beauty of it, Larry. Like humanity is the pest. Like it's gonna be the invasive species, because if they take over that, all the beauty and savagery that it is will be gone, and the symbiosis between the ecosystem that it has won't be, because the humans will fuck it up. And that when I was high as fuck and Emily was watching and she's like, I'm not paying attention to what you're watching. Because I'm like, oh shit, like in the last episode, and I'm like, this is in the first episode. I knew the humanity, the reason they're fucking with the humans is because the robot's fine, the robot's willing to adapt, because the robot has to adapt to every situation. Humanity can adapt. Humanity is the invasive species. Humanity is the virus. It is the pest. It is the infestation. Yeah.
My only issue with that is that no, like there's that one plant that it pokes you and then it clones you, and then it sends you among your people so that you explode, and that creates more of them. Like they're doing that to each other, like
right. But they have their purpose there for that.
Like I don't think it's against humanity. I think this is just a wild ass, violent ass planet.
Right, but the only thing that
mean, like fauna.
When
even
Larry,
the flora, man, it like killed that dude, like pretzeled him. Like, that was so uncomfortable to look at. Like
so good.
Even I had to take a short breath. Like my breath started getting shorter. It's like, it's just a dangerous ass planet.
But that's where like that's my point too with Larry, like how you said, like, no, it seems random, like it's what they do. Like, yeah, it's what they do, but the thing is, the only people that feel anything from it happening are humans. Everything else is part of the symbiosis. This is another day here on this planet,
I don't know. They were screaming. Like,
they are, but they have their purpose. Like they feed each other, they live off each other, and they connect to each other.
And I will give Moses props for bringing up that point, in the sense that I do feel like that was something that they did really well in the show too, where it's like they did a good job of showing you, like, oh, there's this aspect, like there's this animal, and this animal feeds off of this animal, and that animal ends up like helping the environment in this way by like pollinating these flowers. Like there was a lot of symbiotic relationships on the planet, and things.
half of episode 2 was a silent episode showing you that. And if they can convey that in a silent just montage of things, and then make it connect to the overall story too, without saying
Right.
one word, is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was good. Like there's a lot of like really interesting world building that happens. And it's wild too because it's like, I mean, like there's a number of different arcs. Obviously, Jay, you outlined like the 3 major groups, and each one of those groups goes through an arc of their own. But I mean, there's arcs like even with just some of the stuff, like you said, like that happens on the planet or whatever. And like I mean, like you have, which is technically like it's you have a Cayman who goes through his own arc in regards to like being like as you mentioned the abusive relationship with the psychic monkey type thing. But realistically, yeah, like that psychic monkey went through his own arc. Where it was like really we could have told the whole story from that thing's perspective if we really wanted to, and it was just like it was crazy just to think like I remember seeing that thing for the first time and I'm like, oh, like that's a weird thing. Like I know personally I was just like, it's cute, but you should stay away from it. And part of that might be just like what I had seen up until that point. I'm like, but I feel like there's a part of me that even if I knew nothing, I wouldn't be like, what's that? I'd be like, that fool look like a gray. I'm gonna stay away from that. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm good. I don't want no parts of whatever that is. But then when you realize like, oh man, this joint is like intelligent, like it's intelligent and like I mean
humanity in a certain way,
right, like, and that's the whole thing where I'm just like, damn, like this, like on that planet, those things might be like the dominant species because there's not like,
and he's just a shitty version of that species.
Like there's no, yeah, right. There's no, it doesn't seem like there's any kind of like, I guess, higher intelligent kind of species. Like there's no civilizations on that planet. Unless you want to count them. I mean, that's the closest thing I think that we saw, at least that I can remember. And so I'm just like, that's like, yeah, that might be like, the top of the food chain simply because they're psychic and they can get other things to do stuff for them, So I'm just like, man, like that, it's crazy. And that like those things are malicious. Like I'm like, they're basically like dolphins, like land dolphins. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, man, they're diabolical. They're diabolical. The way Howard just was like, oh, let me just twist this thing's neck. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
No.
Well, the way they fight each other too, like when they fight for the food, for the host or whatever, like that was really very savage. Like it's like maybe Christians need to go there. Yeah. Give them some Jesus,
Yeah,
but
it is insane.
The way I explained it to my client this morning was because he thought the way I explained it to him, he's like, this is an anime, isn't it? And I'm like, no, it's American animation. He's like, well, when you say American animation, what do you mean, like The Simpsons? Or I'm like, no, it's just I guess it's made in America. But I go, the style itself is French comic book style, like Mobius, And then he's like, I don't get like what you mean with that, And I go, no, you just have to see it. So I showed him the trailer, and it's just like they just show a scene of the world, and it's just a massive picture that is basically filling the screen of my phone, but it's so detailed, like every tree you can see up to the horizon. I'm like, that's Mobius, that's French expressionist comic book story. Like City of a Thousand Planets, Druna, anything on heavy metal. Look, Penthouse Comics is coming back after 30 years finally. February 14th, 2020. Yeah. So we're gonna get Penthouse Comics. So I'm in. I haven't read a Penthouse Comics since I was like 5 years old. So but again, that's the type of art you see in those comics. You don't see that in DC Comics, shit like that. You see it in that heavy metal, Penthouse Comics. the independent shit, and I go, and this cartoon does a good way. So, but the way I told him is like, if you want to convey it like a movie, he was like, what movie is it like? I go, it's what Prometheus should have been, you know. And then he's like, oh shit. And he's like, yeah, because Prometheus is like, yeah, it's locked in to the xenomorph stuff, mythology, lore. But if it didn't have that, like this would be like this in live action. I don't want to not have the animation, but in live action, with like the way that Prometheus with the effects and everything would have been fucking insane.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You're absolutely right, and it is crazy because this is the kind of thing where, like, I know watching it, I was like, dude, this is so good, and I had to give him props because, like, one thing I could appreciate is, like, it started off, as far as I was concerned, super strong. And I was like, yeah, this is a really cool and interesting series. But like Joe, you mentioned, it did get better story-wise as it progressed. But it also got better animation-wise as it progressed, which is crazy because I'm just like, I feel like the final 2 episodes felt like higher level animation, which I don't know if somebody was just like, oh, you know what? I believe in this. Give them more budget, give them more money so we can get more people on it. I don't know. And it wasn't even like it was like, it just felt like, I don't know. I mean, what I can appreciate is it felt like they were like, this is going to be the finale. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is going to be the end of our joint. So let's go with a bang, hit them with everything we got. And it showed. Like, I was like, I noticed the difference where I was just like, wow, okay, they stepped it up a little bit, and it's not even like it was bad before. But then, it's the kind of thing where I finished watching it and I was like, dude, that was great. And I was like, I would love 2 live action adaptations of this. And I want one that is like, huh?
No, I think that's like, I know you want to see it in live action, but I think the fact that it was animated is what gives this its charm. Like that's
I'll give you that.
I feel like if you do it live action, you lose it. Like when I was doing the Prometheus thing, it's like Prometheus is all black and gray, and then this movie is so colorful, so vibrant.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, and right. I think if somebody would adapt it live action, you would lose the beauty of like the flora and the fauna in design because it's like you gotta simplify it, but you're gonna lose the color vibrance too.
See, I don't think that's true.
I believe it's true. It's 100% true. You are 1,000% faulty in thinking that, Larry. But I'm 100%. Right.
Obviously, it's like that could happen if you get the wrong person. But it's not like those colors can't be reproduced in live action. Like they can be.
But I'm betting you're going to get the wrong person to do it.
Well, and
the right person did it. The right person did it in animation. That's what we got.
Right. I'm not saying it should have been live action and not animated. I'm not saying that at all. Because Lord knows,
but you're telling me you want to see it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because this already exists. Yeah. So it's not that it can't be ruined anymore. Right. It's already there.
It's not either or. It's and. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Right. It's and right. So it's like but me, like.
And I'm already shitting on the live action adaptation preemptively.
Right. That doesn't exist. Right. It's like, look, it's like half the stuff that I was able to watch in this joint animated, I probably couldn't even watch in live action. Like just me. You know what I'm saying? Just because you know how I am, where I get squeamish. So like, like the whole parasite thing with Sam in live action, I don't know if I can do that in live action. But dude, I want it to exist. But
in animation, in animation, you see the parasite thing with Levi, and I don't think that would look. I don't think they could make that look good in live action. Like I think that
be tougher.
I think that only looks good in animation.
Well, I mean, let's put it like this: it's not so much that it couldn't look good; it's that it's expensive because it's CG on top of CG, and it's like friggin'.
And
like
it's just
metal on top of organic.
And it's just a small scene that they could easily cut out for budgetary reasons. But in animation, you got it,
Yeah, it's it's doable. Because I mean, here's the thing. What immediately comes to mind for me is like Avatar, and it's like all that technology that you use in Avatar for like basically a story and a whole like world that's like you don't even need it. It's like it doesn't bring that much to the table. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, we found why that technology exists now. We need that technology to make the live action version of this. You know, like that, like Avatar walked so Scavenger's Reign could run. You know, and so it's like I want 2 live action versions. One that's like literally a 1-to-1 of the animated, so it's just like literally a shot for shot recreation, but live action. And then I want a second one that's literally just like taking the concepts and like, what if, you know, let them like basically almost like Walking Dead it, you know, and like, you know, and just kind of take, because I honestly like I would love to watch both of those. You know, just to see what it's like. And then I will take, after those are done, I will take my animated sequel series. Thank you.
Speaking of both of those, I actually did go back and watch the pilot, which is called Scavengers. And it's actually pretty good too. Like,
there's like a pilot that's before the series?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like the original short that this is based off of.
Oh, okay.
It's called Scavengers. It's by the same guy, of course. And it's pretty cool. Less focus because it's just like an 8-minute thing. But it was just also interesting to watch. And
is that in our Discord?
That is a good question.
If not, can you put it there, please?
I can put it in our Discord if it's not
Thank
there.
You, yeah. You don't have to do it right now. I'm just saying at some point. But continue what you're saying. I apologize.
No, just it was really interesting to watch and to see like what it became.
Yeah.
And it just got bigger in scope, bigger in scale, bigger.
Yeah.
And yeah, but it's interesting to like watch beginnings. I should say.
I just kind of feel like that's the whole thing with like the ideas in this joint are so unique and so interesting that's why I'm like, oh man, I would love to see somebody else's take on these same ideas, just because they're so interesting that I would like this world explored more. And I don't mind it being in a different way because like I already have Scavenger's Reign, so like I'm good. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like this is solidified or whatever. But I'm really interested to go back and check that out too, just to see, you know, like the genesis of it.
Yeah, it's not in our Discord yet, but it will be.
Thank you, friend.
Definitely by tomorrow. You know, I would suggest you either watch it hours before you do your turkey, so you give it time to settle.
Moses, what were you gonna say? You look like you were ready to say something.
Oh no, just in general, like I kept cussing out Joe in our pre-production chat every time I watched it, because that when I did explain it to like my customer, I like, you know, the show was coming out when we reviewed the first few episodes, and then it was coming out weekly, and I hate that. Like I want to binge it, and this I did wait after watching the first like 3 episodes. I waited till they were like, I thought they were gonna be done, and they were at like 10. So I watched up to 8, from like 3 to 8, and then I'm like, then I realized there's 12. I'm like, okay, then I stopped, and then I watched the final 4. And so I told him, it's like, if you really want to enjoy it, and I tell you the audience the same thing, get high as fuck and binge it. They're only 24 minutes each episode. None of that like 20-minute credit bullshit. Like it's 24 23 solid minutes, 1 minute of credits. And you get a lot of story. Like you get a lot of story, especially if you're high as fuck. You get a lot of story in like of just watching plants interact with each other. you know, and that only
Wait,
happens
what?
if you go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. It only happens what?
It only happens if you're high as fuck, and it,
See,
it affected me in a way because dealing with existential crisis and shit with my dad dying and shit, and me knowing that I'm just worm food too, and all that shit, and then watching this, it's like it really plays to that aspect of where my mind is right now with everything, and it does it in a way that it's almost like happy hopeless what I call it, where it's like, yeah, and but in a good way where it's like when I was talking about it, it's like this is it, like this is just a mirror of where we're at now. This is just humanity on Earth anyway, So it's like, why would we bother traveling across the galaxy to go have that fate? We could have that fate here, you know. And it got a little dark, but we laughed about it with Emily. She's like, I haven't been paying attention. I'm sorry.
it's
She's gonna say
interesting because
that when she's finally hanging in the bathroom.
oh my god, oh no.
She's not here, so I can say
I was gonna say that I'm like I didn't realize that I might be missing out on story, like on potential plot points and whatnot, because I'm not getting high. I'm like, if there's more story to be had out there, I think I want it.
It could be just me. I look deeper. Like I feel everything could be a message. I don't know. That's lingering genetic predisposition to schizophrenia from my dad. So so I feel everything has a message, even if it's whimsical or for fun. But there is something to be learned from things like even horror movies, like So I feel some one way or another, the fiction is talking to me. It's a way of being able to take in the reality we live in through fiction. It just makes it easier and more palatable for me, I guess.
Got it.
And so
Got it.
I tend to put a lot of pressure on the things I do read and enjoy and critique, and maybe more than it should. It's not fair to them that I'm all fucked up, But in this case, it works out perfect. With Scavengers Reign, it works out perfect.
Yeah.
Like I'm angry at Ridley Scott now because he should have done. Although now I should watch Raised by Wolves, because Raised by Wolves is more like it's like Prometheus, but like this as well. So
yeah,
I feel like
Raised by Wolves is amazing.
Yeah, and then it kind of bridges the concepts from Prometheus and Blade Runner together, which are like two of my favorite things that Ridley Scott does. So until I watch Napoleon, because now that'll be my favorite. So. His remake of Napoleon Dynamite.
There it is. That's what it's been this entire time. So okay, well listen, I guess we should rate it. Look, I wonder what Jay will say. Jay, what would you rate? What would you rate Scavengers Reign?
Oh, it's a 5 out of 5. I love it.
What?
I love everything about it. The animation, the characters, the stories. It's so good. And the ending, man.
Fucking amazing.
Man, it's like, man, you
the ending
up,
almost
Ozzy.
gives it an extra, yeah.
You fucked up.
the ending almost gives it another point, like, because it's kind of a twist, but not like full on, like it's just so crazy, like you're not gonna see that in the live action version, Larry.
I mean, it depends, right? It's not a movie; it's a series. It maybe.
You're not.
You're not. Most Magnum, what would you rate Scavengers Reign?
It's a 5 out of 5 easily. Like I had to use the N-word when I sent the trailer to my brother. Because he does it for me, like when he showed me the Godzilla trailer for like -1, he's like Godzilla N-word, and I'm like, I like that. You don't need to tell me on it, So I did that with Scavengers Reign.
Oh Jesus, man. Jesus.
Yeah, okay. 5 out of 5, dude. Like I just I want to hear the metal album, like concept album. Yeah, because it would be like super progressive, like the musical, because the music in it is another aspect of it that is so good too, because in the moments when you
Yeah.
don't have dialogue and you have exposition through visual stuff,
Yeah.
there's music playing
Yeah.
and sound design, and that's an aspect of this
Yeah.
that we didn't even talk about, but it's so
It's
good.
true.
Like, when how about the choppy
You're right.
animation? I said it in the other review for it. uh the where it is like choppy animation, but you in the sound design, the dialogue, the voice acting, the sound of the voices just work so well
Mm-hmm.
together, almost in a
Yeah.
symphony, and which is like analogous to how the show is when you just see the flora and fauna do their thing. It is like one big concerto with all
Mm-hmm.
the visuals, and then you got the music
Yeah.
on it. It's fucking amazing. Yeah, 10 out of 5. N-word.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah. I mean, it's a 5 out of 5, no question. Like, dude, I like realistically, there's a
I
part
can't
of me that wants
believe
to
Oz
say
didn't want to
it's.
see
I mean, hey, I don't know what to tell you on that. What I will say is, there's a part of me that wants to say, if you like sci-fi, watch Scavengers Reign. If you like great characters, watch Scavengers Reign. If you like, interesting world building, watch Scavengers Reign. But the reality is like, dude, if you just watch Scavengers Reign. It don't even matter what you like. Watch
Oh, it's almost
Scavengers Reign.
if you want to know how to do things tight, watch it like as almost like a study.
Right.
Study it,
You want to succeed in life? Watch Scavengers Reign.
for real. Because
You
even
want to start.
the people's
Go ahead.
interactions, they're even in, like, as you're watching these three plot points kind of converge, but it's like, really,
Mhm.
if they were really to adapt to being one of the flora or fauna and just be like, it's my survival and no one else's, I don't give a fuck, they would all survived. Instead, there need to be humanity and tribe and connected, and the regret of how shit went down, and they're stuck in their bullshit in their brain. They're never gonna adapt to this environment, and they're it's a futile attempt at existence for them because of their humanity. What makes them more involved to traverse the galaxy is actually their downfall. They need to be more savage, more animal, more be the mushroom, be one with the mushroom, be one with the flora and fauna that wants to clone you. Just surrender. When again, this shit's talking to me more than it should. But when we think about, like, global climate change and shit like that, and it's like,
Yeah.
part of even we're having a hard time is because we don't surrender. Let's let it wipe half of us out. And then, maybe we'll be in a better spot.
It's like the other half will be better for it.
Maybe, but it'll bring you back to me.
There it is. There it is. All right. Dude, it's time for us to get out of here.
Sorry, G. I didn't mean to keep you, but it's your fault for telling us about Scavengers.
There it is. It is Jay's fault. We will blame Jay. All right. Let's get out of here. Woo! Jay,
Final thoughts. Been hearing a lot about Wish. I'm kind of looking forward to checking it out for myself.
Buying the
Seeing what the
bootleg
fuck
stuff?
people have talked about. Wish what?
Like buying bootleg stuff on the app?
No.
Wish.com.
No. Disney's Wish.
Oh,
The new Disney movie. Wish. So I'm looking forward to checking that out and seeing what that's all about.
There it is. Moses Magnum. Final thoughts.
Put your pre-order in for Penthouse Comics. I'm gonna buy 5 myself. I'll sign them and send them to you if you want them, because I want it to succeed. Comic book shops are dying, and then Penthouse decides we're gonna do comics. Not naked women playing with themselves or lesbian sex scenes. We're gonna make comics, and again, I haven't read a new one of those since I was like 5 years old. So I'm in. Like, I want this to flourish. I don't mind, the naked nudie magazine going out of business. That's fine, but I want the comics part to succeed.
Penthouse is like, we're gonna save the industry on our own. Put the comic book industry on our backs.
Yeah, it'd be so great if that's the only place you can get like physical comics now.
No,
Penthouse.
dude, that make me so sad.
Why?
Anyway,
you like Penthouse? I remember you like we called Fantastic Forum because you like Penthouse Forum so much.
Oh, you're right. Right. Everyone knows that was the origin. That's our origin story. Look, the music doesn't stop. It's like, what?
Like,
no. For the entire Fantastic Forum, thank you all so much for hanging out with us. We do appreciate you. For all of our good people in America, we hope you have a happy Thanksgiving. For the rest of you that are just out in the world that don't celebrate that, we hope you have a great Thursday. So we'll be back next week. Let us know what you like, what you don't like. Until then, we're the Fantastic Forum. Good night.